was craving to do something intense.
Whenever you wear a cop uniform, ऐसा लगता है हमेशा कि पेट खींच के खड़े रहो.
Coming almost confrontational, but not really saying it out loud.
Hello everyone, welcome to The Hindu.
Thank you.
Kajol, I'll start with this. From giving us the greatest spoiler line in Hindi cinema, which is Kajol is the killer, you now have to figure out if and which Kriti is the killer. So how is that transformation for you?
Why did you not doubt Shahir? I want to understand first.
He's the chocolate boy.
Fair enough.
Chocolate boy.
Chocolate अच्छा लड़का है. There is no spoiler alert for this film because I think that's the whole point, that we want you to be completely confused when you watch this film. We want you to go back, we want you to think like अब क्या होगा तो ये मतलब सोच जारी रखिए कि यहाँ पे spoiler alert नहीं होने वाला है.
Right. I must ask also, the identical twin sister setup, it's such a classic of literature, not just cinema. And you can play a lot with it. Kajol, you have done, I think, 2 bona fide dual roles, Kuch Khatti Kuch Meethi and Dushman, of course. Kriti, how is it playing with, 2 different minds, in the same film, and you to be on the outside of this and sort of bounce off? And I guess the biggest compliment you could probably give her is that, it was like having 2 co-stars, I guess. Like, was it like that, doing scenes with the 2 characters?
There was only one Kriti. Yes, definitely. I like I said before also, I have said this before, that she's definitely come really far from Dilwale times. I think it's quite a wonderful growth spurt that she's had, though she didn't need the growth spurt at all. She's like a plant. But yes, she's done she's a tree. But yes, it was quite amazing to watch the transformation from one character to another, etc. And it was very interesting to watch the technicalities of it, and against the green and this and that and the reactions. It's a completely technical game actually when you're shooting with when you're shooting a double role film. So yes, it was very, very interesting.
Right. Kriti, for you, how is it doing?
It was exciting, very exciting, challenging also, but that's why probably exciting, and I've never done that before. To get to, I think I was craving to do something intense. I had done 2 comedy films, Teri Baaton Mein and Crew, and then I came to this, and I was wanting to do something intense, and she gave me 2 different characters to actually toy with. It's interesting also because in a lot of films, the double role characters are sort of having a separate journey and then they end up meeting towards the end. But here, 70% of the scenes or 80% of the scenes, I had another me. Right. So, how ma'am said, technically it gets challenging because you have to block what the other person is doing to be able to react to the body double.
Right, yeah.
But yeah, it was fun.
Right. Has the technology also come far for double role films?
Actually, I want to ask about that.
Yeah.
When you shot, was the technology similar?
Back in Dush, I used to growing up, I used to hear about a camera called Milo, something called a Milo, which is like a
motion control.
Yeah, motion control.
It's a really big camera that they used to do for stop block and for special effects and all that. Yeah, I've worked with that one also. Yes, it was different, but and they used to put scotch tape in the center, and they used to block half they sort of block half the camera off, so only you shot only half of it and then shot the other half on the other
and there was no
side.
camera movement, you couldn't move the camera around.
Yeah.
I think
Lock
that's
it.
changed.
In certain cases, you still can't move the camera when you're showing both
certain
the
movements.
characters.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah. So you have to. I mean, as an actor, also you have to do the changes.
But
back
technically,
and
I think VFX has come
A long way.
Huge. We have VFX, which says itself, in itself is huge. Earlier, even if you had to show thunder and lightning, वो set पे वही करना पड़ता था. Light, thunder. So I think we have definitely come a long way from that to actually this, but I think it has to be done very, very smartly.
Yeah.
It's something that you have to do technically, but it has to be done very cleverly, so that you don't get caught in.
Is there a film you guys hold as a gold standard, or that did double role very correct, or multiple roles very correctly, or very nicely?
Chalbaz?
Yeah.
there are many. Yeah.
Eternal Chalbaz.
Right.
Brilliant.
You have another one?
Tanu as Manu returns.
Correct.
I feel was great.
Yes, Tanu as Manu is my husband, so that
तभी तो मैंने ही बोल दिया, अभी you can say something else.
that kind of settles it for me.
You've given us two wonderful head spinners before this. Where did the two characters, like at the center of three characters actually, for Dopati come, and did it begin with the characters? Did you have a plot? How did the screenplay start?
See, primarily, like Kriti's also mentioned that, you know, we were toying with ideas. Actually, after her scene 2, me and Kriti spoke ki kuch karte hain, interesting sa. And then, you know, she had a thing that she really felt about a lot, an issue, and then I had a story that I wanted to tell. So I think it kind of started from there, but then you know, as characters started to take shape, and you know, eventually they also take they start dictating a lot of the story around and screenplay around also. So there's a constant balance there. So yeah, so the journey has been you know, character driven also, because it's Soumya and Shelly and Vijay and their personal conflicts, and like Kajol ma'am just said, that it is unexpected, it'll keep you guessing, new things will keep unfolding. So yes, it's come from my head, yes, a lot of it, as all my films, but I've really enjoyed writing this one, because to keep the stakes high, to keep the drama high, to keep the emotion also there for one to feel the situations that these characters are in. It was a tricky one to write, but I have thoroughly enjoyed it.
Kriti, tell me about the emotional impetus she's mentioning that sort of shaped the project.
I mean, there is the film obviously is got like twists and turns, and it's got a lot of drama and rivalry to it. But at the core of it, it does talk about a very important issue, which I personally felt for, which is not something that I want to say out right now because it'll be too much giving out. But that I feel, I'm hoping that once you've seen the film and if you've enjoyed it, that is something that should stay with you. And I hope you end up crying.
Right. I must ask the
खुशी के आंसू होंगे, खुशी के आंसू होंगे, बता दो.
I hope you sob by the end.
Monika, at your run at the Netflix, you know, one of the most inspiring things you've done is to drive female-driven projects, you know, not just thematically, narratively, but to have technicians, actors behind it. And this is a wonderful culmination of that, where across the board, you know, Kriti is debuting as a producer with this. You're there at Netflix, Kanika's written it, Kajol is there at the center of it. Just talk to me about, you know, how does it feel to, you know, finally have a project like Dopati and many more, you know, in the future to come that are created like this? Yeah.
I think, you know, obviously it feels very great, but I also feel that it's the right thing, you know, because women are 50% of the world, and yet we don't have their voice equally represented in entertainment. And entertainment shouts the loudest because it reaches so many people. It's an emotive experience for so many people, and you can really feel seen through stories and entertainment. So I think it's great that we are able to do this, that we are sitting here, and so many other women who are part of the same project and many others. I genuinely feel, you know, this is important, and at Netflix actually we do a lot of it. Right. If you look at our sort of global leadership also, it's amazing that rarely does a company, tech company, and we are a tech entertainment company. Our chief product officer is a woman. Our chief technology officer is a woman. Content officer is a woman. So many, and marketing, comms. And of course, this is not about men versus women. But I think when you see and you're able to get a sense of equity and you know, a balance, it just feels right. It feels amazing. And I think the energy, and of course, we have all the amazing men, the director.
We do have men also.
So many, Shaheen who's not here right now. So I think it's just, it's a different energy. It's great.
You're playing a cop. What was it like? Like, you know, there's an accent also. Like,
Yes.
Tell me about that.
We have kept a slightly Pahadi accent to it, but and we've tried very hard to kind of keep it consistent throughout the film. Of course, in places it's been a little bit of a challenge, but yes, we do have an accent, and she is, you know, from, you know, she has that feel to her, you know, where the way she talks, her thinking, the way she's, you know, the way she looks at things also, for that matter. So I think, yeah, we've tried very hard to work through it. And as far as I think the cop uniform is concerned, like I said, whenever you wear a cop uniform, ऐसा लगता है हमेशा कि, you know, पेट खींचे खड़े रहो. That's the vibe to it. Yeah. And it's something that I don't know, I hope we have done justice to it, and I think whenever you wear a uniform, you have a responsibility, and I hope we've fulfill that.
And I think it also gets inspiring when a person in uniform is upholding, justice or what is right versus what is wrong. I think it's a great projection on screen for people also. It's inspiring. So I think VJ is inspiring.
Right. Kritika, a lot of your recent stories, it's interesting, you really delve into the female psyche in all its dimensions. And, it can be messed up and it can be complicated and it can be very empowering. And you don't limit yourself to looking at it from one way.
She has a multiple personality disorder.
I agree with Kajol. You said it right. I've been doubting it. I've been
इतना हंसी
thinking.
मजाक में सच्चाई निकल जाती है. You have a multiple personality disorder now.
I could probably, but they do say that writers are actually not diagnosed. They have a mental issue which is not diagnosed because many writers feel like that, and writing is therapy. So there are.
And you're also married to one.
I'm also married. So imagine a household with two writers.
It's a dormitory.
But isn't it exciting to have a writer like her and many others now coming up, who look at the female psyche in all its, all its glory, I'll say, and build characters from there.
And own the greyness.
Yeah, right,
and
own the
really
greyness, yeah.
wear it on your sleeve. Allow women to be grey and not just expected to be this way or that. I think it's very liberating.
Liberating, yes. And I'll tell you, since the time I started from Man Marziya, my first film where I actually found my voice, each and every female character that I have created has been discussed, dissected, remembered and loved. So it only goes to show that the audiences are not limiting. They are loving them, they are talking about them. Sometimes they're also hating them, but still talking about them, which as an artist I feel is the biggest victory, because I would love for you to hate me, I would love for you to love me, but I would hate for you to ignore me or kaam aaya aur chala and not feel anything. When your audience is not feeling anything, that is my biggest fear. So, but so far the audience has given so much love to all my female characters that it just goes on to show that they are so ready for all sorts of dimensions. And coming to Do Patti, Soumya and Shelly, I just want to talk about that one scene. I was so scared myself while I was writing on paper, and I was most excited to see that scene come alive. That Soumya and Shelly sisters scene, which is the one part of it is the end of the trailer also. As a writer, as a maker, I was so nervous that how is this going to really come about, because it had such an emotional strength, complexity, crux to it, and it had to be projected in the right manner. And of course, it was going to take a huge toll out of the actor who's playing it. And that's the role that she's talking about, that she was so nervous, and I could actually feel the nervousness for 2-3 days, and she was like, please, let's just start with that. I can't perform Baki ka, I want to finish this.
I remember that was the fourth day.
And she was just like so worked up, and but after that scene happened, and then we saw the rushes, and all of us just looked at each other, and we were like, my God, it's those moments that you really kind of work towards, that you feel something at that stage, and then monitor, and then edit, and then when the audience is kind of live it. So.
What is the most distinct change you felt once you took on production responsibility for a project? Like, let's say from your earlier work, was there something you could, as an actor also, like, as a performer, was there something you could distinctly feel different, like now that you're in control of the production?
See, I've always tried to be a producer's actor because I feel like it's very important that you look at the film as a whole and you don't waste anyone's time. And you make the most of every day that you're shooting. So I've always had that in me, but I think I have a lot more respect for what goes on, the chaos that goes on behind the scenes, which mostly actors don't get to know, and I saw it firsthand probably the first time. Very simple things, which are not in your control also sometimes. Whether it is the camera, that if you have to shoot a double roll scene, the camera being available only on a particular day. The number of times back and forth that has to happen. To when we were going to start shooting, we were supposed to shoot most of the film in Manali. And then suddenly landslides happened and we had to cancel the whole thing and then move it to something else. So there's a lot that goes on till the end moment, till the film actually comes out. So there's a lot more, I would say, respect and understanding of that chaos. There's a lot to learn, to be very honest, and I feel like I like being a newcomer once in a while, so it was nice to like see all this and be like, oh shit, मुझे ये नहीं आता, ये कैसे हो रहा है, and understand that.
Kajol, do you have a favorite scene working with Kriti this time, and that you remember very well? Something happened between the two of you, a moment, or a scene that just she played very interestingly and you noticed?
Actually, all the interesting scenes that she's done have been without me. But yes, I think the entire film, whatever we have done together, has been, like they say, the chemistry, as they put it, not necessarily between a man and woman always. Yeah, so really, really worked. All the scenes really had a feel and a vibe to it, and I think that even our director, for that matter, Bob, was very, very instrumental in making sure that we all kind of were on the same page. So yes, the entire film actually, the film is about a vibe. The whole film is about a vibe. It's about everybody's vibe. Sometimes it clashes, so it becomes interesting. Sometimes it just works really well together. So I think her scenes with me were more about matching rather than clashing.
I see.
I think that the one scene with Shelly and Vijay,
that was
in the
that was
cafe,
really nice.
that was like a bit of a, just two people coming almost confrontational, but not really saying it out loud. I remember when that scene happened, just everyone behind was so excited, and we got that scene really fast, and that was like, I remember even Netflix was very excited seeing that scene, and I was hearing like murmurs of like, oh, that scene went really well, and
you just know when you have that moment and the electric chemistry between actors on screen and having two amazing performers, and Tanvi also. So amazing.
So good.
So I think the whole mix is really amazing.
Okay, this is Devipur, right? The setting. You had done Jwalapur for Hasi. Is this a Netflix mandate, like to have fictional places?
Not at all. Not at all. They give us full freedom.
It's just ऐसा नहीं है कि
it's
fiction
just easier to have now. कोई बोल देगा नहीं यहाँ पे तो ऐसा नहीं है तो फिर
Right. Monika, what's your stand on this? On having fictional names. You have done films and shows that
you realize that we're a fictional film also, right? It's a fictional story.
Right, it makes sense. But yeah, I want to hear from you. Is there a Netflix stand on, do we name places, do we not name places?
No, actually there isn't a stand, but it depends. If it's a very fictional story and you're placing it, when you're doing true, stories inspired from true incidents, you base them where they are. And this also, I mean, everyone knows it's Manali. You're just picking up one place where you've shot, you're picking up one place and giving it a name and setting your own fictional space. It's not, there is no hard and fast rule to it, but it's always simpler to have a fictional name because then you're able to set up, make the town look the way you want it to look. And
certain creative liberties you can take sometimes, which you need for the story.
I'll end with this to the three of you. What are your all-time favorite Kajol performances?
The most endearing roles, according to me, which I love and I've remembered, is K3G. I would definitely.
She stole my answer from the previous interview. Let me just put it out there. Okay.
I think kuch hota hai. The list is endless. Dushman, Gopt, like I can go on. K3G.
You have to find a
IDLJ, guys.
IDLJ to question.
Actually, I will also say the film that she did as part of Love Stories too.
Yes.
Defining performance. Great role and defining performance. So that is there too.
Lovely. Thank you so much. All the best for the Patti.
Thank you.